Give it up for Sarah!
Hard-working helpers, scheming scoundrels, true team players, persuasive puppet masters. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and thank you for joining me tonight to answer a question that has been tearing families and communities apart for centuries. Plants, are they everybody's best friend or master manipulators? To elucidate this point, I will present 3 exhibits detailing plants and their relationships, after which we will vote on plants' true nature. Exhibit A, pollinators and seed dispersers. Plants need to move pollen from flower to produce seeds, and then disperse those seeds. While some plants rely on the wind for this function, many employ animal or insect helpers. To entice these helpers, plants manipulate them by offering delicious and nutritious treats. Clingy pollen surrounds sweet nectar, ensuring that pollinators move from flower to flower, bringing pollen with them in that search for nectar. Seeds are encased in fleshy fruit. They're encased in that fleshy fruit, but the seeds themselves can often pass through the digestive tract intact, allowing them to be deposited in a nice pile of fertilizer when the animal does its business. But some plants have created methods to get around having animals help them out. There's no tasty treat. They surround their seeds in spines and burrs designed to catch on animal fur or feathers without consent. A typical example is when a burr gets stuck to your sock. Exhibit B, rhizobium bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria live in the roots of leguminous plants, such as beans, peas, and alfalfa, and provide the plant with the nitrogen it needs to survive. Now, the soil has nitrogen, but it's hard to find, and though 78% of our atmosphere is nitrogen gas, plants cannot use gaseous nitrogen. The rhizobium bacteria takes this nitrogen from the air and converts it into ammonia, a form of nitrogen the plant can use. In return, the plant allows the bacteria to colonize its root cells. Thus, instead of trying to survive in the terrifying subterranean microbial landscape, the bacteria gets a nice apartment with cushy walls that are basically impenetrable and pays its rent in ammonia. Exhibit C, mycorrhizal fungi. Mycorrhizal fungi live in the roots of 80% of all land plants and provide them with nutrients, minerals, and water from the soil. Now, if you are thinking, isn't that what roots do? You are correct, but roots are actually very bad at their job. So roots don't cover that much surface area and can only absorb through the root hairs and through the root tip, which is just not enough surface area to absorb everything that the plant needs. Conversely, mycelium, which appears as, if you can see it, thin white threads in the soil and is the underground part of the fungus, it can absorb anywhere along its length and covers up to 700 times more soil area compared to the roots. These fungi cannot, however, produce its own food. So as a trade, the plant will send 20 to 80% of the sugars from photosynthesis down into that soil community where the mycelia, the fungi, lives. And this network of mycelia is so extensive in the soil, there's so much of it, that in some environments like forests, it connects plants to one another in a phenomenon known as the wood wide web. Now, plants can communicate through this wood wide web and actually warn each other of predation events and even send nutrients to one another in times of need. Now, I have presented my exhibits A through C detailing plants and their relationships, and it is now time to cast your vote, jury. This is your responsibility to determine the answer to this question. So, please, by round of applause, who votes for plants as everybody's best friend? Thank you. Now, who votes for plants as master manipulators? All right, thank you, jury. From that vote, you have determined that plants are master manipulators. Thank you for helping me in this debate, and please do your part to warn everybody else of these insidious exploiters living in our homes and gardens. Thank you.